people should pay attention to a very controversial figure, Norman Finkelstein, on his view of the Middle East. He said, no, he was not going to condemn Hamas. I think that Hamas should be condemned for October the 7th. But his point is, you can't look at the present conflict and say that history began when Hamas did what it did. There's a whole history behind this. Hamas is not unique. Every movement generally has a terrorist wing. And when that movement demands are fulfilled, the terrorists disappear. Israel had terrorism long before Hamas in order to win their independence. And so terrorists became prime ministers and actually negotiated the first semi-peace with Sadat. So there you are. The terrorist gets what he or she wants and no longer a terrorist. And I think the same thing would apply to Hamas. One of the things that struck me was years ago when President Jimmy Carter was involved in the conflict, he said that he thought that Hamas would be negotiable. With someone on the left, when a centrist like Jimmy Carter says that Hamas is negotiable, and given past history of terrorist groups that stop terrorism when at least some of their demands are met, again, like Northern Ireland, you don't hear of any IRA terrorism anymore, now that the Catholics are treated like human beings. I think that generally Finkelstein has a very strong point. You cannot judge the conflict based on the horror of October the 7th, and it was horrible. You can't judge it solely on that basis, because from the beginning, where even the Israeli left and the whole business of the Jewish state and kibbutz, and it sounded very, very progressive. A scar underneath of this was the fact that it was created at the expense of 750,000 Palestinians being expelled. And that is a cancer that has come to haunt Israel, and that is the cancer that has caused the majority of the world, the majority of institutions, from the UN to private institutions, to say that however horrible Hamas was, this is genocide. And I remind the people, it's like what happened after World War I. Germany was treated like crap. Germany should be treated better. But that didn't justify Nazi dictatorship and Germany trying to conquer the world. So, again, the right of Israel to exist does not judge what's being done to the Palestinians.